All right. Say got it. Recording in progress. Welcome everybody. Today is February the 6th, 2024. Happy New Year. It is the Edmondson Heights Civic Association, our first community meeting of the year. Is you can take that off, please. And our first community meeting for the year. We did pass up January because January. There we go. Welcome everybody. First, well, I have guests for everyone, but I have to do a little lead in first. I do want to thank you all for joining. And Miss Barcella, thank you for joining me or joining us. It's us thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you all have heard me say, probably for the past year, how we are working on the park. And how I didn't know what the park was. I thought the park was just this corner, and it turned out to be way more than I expected it to be. Well, now it's even more, way more than I expected it to be. What I was asked when when I became president, was there was a huge emphasis put on Edmondson Heights Park, which is, it covers about 2 blocks. Yeah, maybe about 2 blocks from Newfield and Sunset, Granville and Forest Park. It's just this huge space there. And you probably pass by it and don't see or think anything park. But you could say there's a lot of trees and a bench. Or, I mean, that's probably what you see when you pass by. But I know for most of, I was included in this for a minute, we don't know that there's actually something of this huge green space there. And what I was being asked to do by the current board, Edmondson Heights board, and previous members was, it was just overgrown. There were vines everywhere. The overgrowth had grown past. There's this there's signage that says there's a do not dump sign, no dumping sign. Angie, can you change the view? That's not working. Thank you. I'm sorry. There's no dumping. There's property of Baltimore County, which we had to go way in there and find it because, to tell the truth, Baltimore County was saying that's not out. And the signage in there said otherwise. So I don't know if everything on that side of the sign belonged to Baltimore County and everything on this side belonged to somebody else. I don't know. But if you've passed the area, it doesn't take much to see. It may look like winter is just happening and the trees are bare and all of these things, but the county is coming out and they're clearing that stuff out and the vines, and we're hoping to have an entranceway to the park from Sunset, so that the students at Edmondson Heights Elementary can have access to it when they're doing their science and environmental classes and things like that. Hopefully we can get some sort of outdoor classroom out there on that end. Don't know how that's going to fare up. I don't really know. But maybe a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half, I'll go as far back as saying 2 years. We had Delegate Sheila Ruth, who said, have you ever heard of Neighbor Space? And I had not. And she put me in touch with Neighbor Space, who just turned out to be, they're crazy about trees and green stuff. And I'll say green trees and green areas. And I've never seen it before, just the love for it. We are currently working with Neighbor Space, and they've been out and looking at what spaces we have, and we're looking at, even though the county is working with the park, what do we want to do with the park? We have, what do we want to do with the park? How do we want to use the park? And because this park does not have a, what do they call it? Any sort of water facilities, it's not considered as valuable by like Parks and Recs and things like that. So what we're doing is putting some value in and just forcing the value. And we are, well, we're going to look to see and ask you all, what are the best things to do? What would you like to see? Well, we have the park. We also,
Jaquista, you went out. Okay, I can hear you now.
okay, not sure what happened, but sorry, we're looking at the triangle that is on Newfield and Forest Park. It's kind of, we call it the triangle. It looks like a triangle. Just to be honest, it looks like a triangle. And it has all the overgrown trees, and it just kind of looks a mess, but it's a green space and it's something, and it doesn't have to look a mess. And my understanding is that the county said, we didn't plant those trees, so we won't be cutting them down, and we won't be doing this, and we won't be doing that. So maybe they will, maybe they won't. They're doing a lot of things they said they won't do. But yeah, and the median on Harwell. So right now, we have signed an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with NeighborSpace, and we have received a check. I put it right in the bank after looking at it for a long time. We received a check of $16,000, which is way good. This is our first check, and we have to figure out how to spend it. We have to also figure out what we want to do, guys, how we want this neighborhood to look. And it may not be as, if we depend on me to figure these things out, then it's going to look like it looks, because my front yard looks like the rest of this stuff out here. It's just not good. So we need something other than me to say, this is what I think. All I can think is flower pots. I can't think of, but that's, put big flower pots everywhere, and that's me. That's about the gist of it for me. But we have, and I know that some of you may have come with something, well, I'll get you. But we have explaining to us tonight where we are so far and what we're doing. We have Claire. Wait a minute, Claire, I haven't called your full name before, but you're next, just so you know. This is Claire Cambadella from NeighborSpace. I mean, look at my name, Claire. I mean, yeah, I can say it. I just have to see all of it. We have Claire from NeighborSpace, and we also have Bonnie Sorek here, who is from Interfaith. You'll tell us that when you get up here. If you, yeah, Interfaith Partnerships of Chesapeake. Yes. And it's a huge deal, guys. And but we also have Saul Passe. I asked my mom what that said, and she also said it was passe. And he is from Maryland Department of Environmental Protection. In case any of us have received or heard, you may have seen a post or something that I did about tree canopies throughout the neighborhood. So what we want to try to do, having them both here tonight, is seeing if we can put those projects together. You ready? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
So
You need
I
the help?
originally,
You need the screen?
no, originally I thought I was going to be sharing slides. I'm sorry, my face keeps getting blurred out.
Yeah, that's a little weird, but go
I'm
for it.
just I'm in my guest room. The light's bad. I'm just going to try not to move. First, I just want to say thank you all for letting us join this evening and take up some time in your community meeting. My name is Claire Cambardella. You got it exactly right, Jaquista. You know, sometimes the shorter names are harder than longer ones. Who knows? And I work with Phyllis Joris, who's your original contact at Neighborspace, and Phyllis and I work together through a collaboration that we call Be Green, and that's how Bonnie is involved as well. So Neighborspace, Interfaith Partners for the Chesapeake, and the organization I work for, which is University of Maryland Sea Grant Extension. So we and 7 other groups have come together, and we form what we call Be Green, which stands for the Baltimore Greater Regional Environmental Equity Network. So because Jaquista came to Phyllis and to Neighborspace with this project of, you know, looking to revamp the park, we thought that this would be a great community for Be Green to work with. So we've been chatting with Jaquista over the past year, and the funding that brings Be Green together is a regional capacity building grant, and it comes from the Chesapeake Bay Funders Network. And so the purpose of this grant is to help people learn how to organize, provide time and expertise and skills to accomplish these greening types of goals. So having a park that needs a little rehab is a great project. So we're really excited to work with Edmondson Heights. But the most important thing is that, you know, this park becomes what you want it to be. So that's why I'm here tonight. I'm here to listen. Bonnie is here to listen. I think Phyllis is on here as well. And then Jaquista also mentioned Saul. So Saul is one of the coordinators of the county's ReTree program. And so there was an email that went around that originally came from Saul's department, looking at the boundaries of the community, because not only do we have an opportunity through Be Green to look at the park and start to think of ideas of what you want that to be, and make some steps towards planning for what the park can become. With Saul's involvement, we have the opportunity also to provide street trees in your community, so in front of your houses. And I don't want to speak any more about it because I will probably say something wrong. I'm going to let Saul do that. But like Jaquista mentioned, we do have funding available. And at this point, what we're hoping to do is to use that funding for services to help survey the community, survey you all, find out what you want to come from the park. And we have a couple of other ideas that I'm still ironing out the details, so I can share a little bit, but I just don't want to speak before we like have anything set. But we're hoping that we can use some of the funding to survey the land, which, you know, is like getting an idea of elevation, where waterways are, and that would be needed for any planning that happens in the park. And we're hoping to engage some folks to do some education and training sessions for anyone who's interested in learning more about the trees that are there, and about the different species that are there and how to help take care of them. So those are just some ideas that we're bouncing around at the moment. I'm taking notes as well. I heard you mention an outdoor classroom for the nearby elementary school. So these are all great ideas, and that's what we want to hear about. And I think, you know, and that's something that we're going to be needing to work on over the next couple of months. It's actually a pretty tight turnaround to get kind of the feedback that we really need. Simultaneously, Saul is out looking for places to plant trees. So I'm going to pause and see if anybody has any specific questions for me, but I do want to turn it over to Saul so that he can speak about his deadlines as well and what he can do in the neighborhood.
Also, in the chat, is L with you? Ellie, LJ, Ellie J with you?
Me? No,
It's
I
just a
don't.
great person. In the chat, there is a picture of the triangle.
Triangle. Great.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Are there any questions for me or Bonnie or?
I also wanted to say, because one of the things when she says to provide some sort of information, some sort of education, I spoke with her just about an idea that I had. I've had it for so long, and I've kind of, when I see the opportunity, I try to throw it out to people to see if some time ago or a couple of years ago, someone asked me if we were going to have jobs, like summer jobs for the kids. And just, I don't know, I'm barely holding on to my job. But one thing that I did think was that to have kids take care of, or learn, you know, landscaping and things like that, just a start, something that they can do and probably build their way up from, probably build a little clientele, just so that they can take pride in their community. We would we're gonna try to see if there could possibly be a stipend for because I'd like for everybody, that ain't gonna work. I'd like for everybody to help out, but I would really like for you guys to encourage your kids, your teens, your preteens to I think it's important. It's their candy wrappers and stuff all up and down the street. So I mean, just to see if they could, just throwing it out there. Anything, it's possible, but if we could all figure out a way to help or be a part. Right now, we were discussing using a great part of the funding that we have for design, to get a design company to create. We have a small window of time for that, and we need a design. So we need to know what you guys think. I'm out. Hey, Saul.
Unmute.
It's
Am I
on you.
unmuted? I'm on good.
You're unmuted. Go for it.
Great, fantastic. Thank you for having me. My name is Saul Pass. I work for Baltimore County Environmental Protection and Sustainability, and we are doing a tree planting project in the Edmondson Heights and the West Edmonddale area. Did I have that right? So it's called Operation Retree. And what we do is we plant trees in both what we call the verge strip. That's a street tree. The verge is that little grassy strip in between the sidewalk and the street. We plant trees there, those street trees, and those would be Baltimore County property. Baltimore County they would be taking care of them, for the rest of their tree lives. And then we also offer trees in people's front yards and homeowners' front yards. The difference between those two different kinds of trees is in the median strip, in the verge strip, we offer larger trees, oaks, red maples, elms, hackberries. These are shade trees that'll keep your cars cool and keep the streets cool and make a nice, tree-lined street. The trees that we put in the front yards are smaller variety trees. This is like a sweet bay magnolia, red bud, and a serviceberry. And these are smaller type trees that don't get very, 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 very big. They won't reach the roofs of your house and get leaves in the gutters or anything like that. So those are the two trees the two styles of trees that we're offering. You should be soon enough, maybe this week sometime, you'll be getting a mailing in the mail. It comes from Baltimore County. Don't throw it away, because that is our Retree sign up sheet. It's an information sheet. It has a letter in it about the program, and it's coming to every single resident, every single homeowner in those two neighborhoods. And it has a sign up sheet in it where you can, an envelope, a prepaid envelope that you can send it back to us. Just send it back. And you can check off which tree you want. I want the serviceberry in my front yard, or I want the red maple in the curb. And we'll plant the red maple for you. And it comes with mulch, it comes with stakes, it comes with a year of maintenance on it. We'll put a water bag on it for you, and we'll maintain it. If it dies within a year, we'll replace it for you. And these trees are free of charge. You just have to send the sign up sheet back into us. You can also go on, they'll have a QR code or a website on the letters that'll come to you. You can go online and you can sign up online. It's the same sign up form online. You just check off which tree you want and we'll get it. The plan here is we have a deadline of February 23rd. Of when you can sign up. If you sign up a little bit after that, that's also fine too. And you can sign up, and we plan to plant these trees this coming spring. If the weather, holds like this fantastic global warming keeps us, we should be planting sometime in March, end of March. That's the plan. So we'll be doing next week, the 12th and the 13th, probably the Monday and Tuesday, I think it is. We'll be doing like a door-to-door campaign. So we have my team and some volunteers will be coming out, and we'll knock on everybody's door and we'll sign you up. If you don't want to go online and sign up or send something in, we'll sign you up right there on the spot. And we'll leave a door hanger, and it'll give you a little bit more information, and it'll have a QR code on the door hanger and a little bit more information, and just to kind of remind people that if you threw out that letter, there's still a chance to sign up online, so or to call us. So I think it's a great program. It's free trees. I mean, these aren't little tiny trees either. These are like nice size, already established, 2-inch trunks. And they're about 6 to 10 feet tall trees. These are really nice trees. They're like around $275 a piece, these trees. So they're a great value, and it's for free. And we just want to see the streets of Baltimore County come back alive with trees. We take down a lot of trees. The 400 trees come down every year from the streets of Baltimore County. We just need to start putting them back in. So that's our program. We have, I don't know how we could talk to Claire about this and coordinate with the neighborhood associations, but we do plant in parks. That's we're not able to just put trees on the street. So every time we do one of these retreat programs in a neighborhood, we usually find a local park and we plan out a tree planting in that. If you want more of a specific tree plant, we're able to put free tree. I can put, I walked that park the other day, the Edmondson Heights Park. It's fantastic. I walked the whole thing. It's this long stretch of beautifulness. I mean, we could put, 25 trees in there, gorgeous, beautiful, big trees, and it would be fantastic. It depends what you want, obviously, for the vision of the park. for the at the triangle also. I mean, if you wanted to redo the triangle, we have trees available, you know, to redo something in there. I also heard you say that if there's dead and dying trees in that triangle, if there's dead and dying trees in the Harwell medium or something like that, I have kind of an in with the Baltimore County Highways Department, and I think we could probably take a look at those trees. I'll take a look at them next week, and we can maybe see if we can get some of those trees removed on the quick. So
Okay. I have a couple of questions for you.
sure.
Well, one question in the chat was, can we opt out for our block? I do understand having the tree sap and the berries and the birds just targeting you. I definitely get that. Also, the trees sound large.
Yeah.
And is that here's my concern.
Sure.
My concern about large trees is the damage that the roots will do. Um, my concern is also I'll probably be well, probably not necessarily dead and gone, but these trees get large. My concern about trees is that they hide it's safety, it's personal safety. And you have large trees and you can't really see once you walk out of the house, you don't know kind of what you're walking out into. Um, I could stand berries and stuff all over my car before I could, that. So, um, and there was in the chat, someone said, oh, this is the chat is burning up. I'm here to tell you. Like shrubs, would you guys do some sort of shrubs, or how could it go?
Okay.
Like something lower, something you can see
Yeah.
over.
Right. I
Okay.
agree. Because trees would kind of be a blind spot. And I know, yeah, I wouldn't want trees. I already have a big old tree in my lawn. I wouldn't want to see if I lived over there. I agree with the people who said no thanks to big trees.
There's a difference between a tree with a high canopy and a pine tree that's going to block your view.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So I guess there's a lot to unpack there. I'll try to answer everything. If I don't, let me know which ones I didn't answer.
Let me get you first. Okay, the first one was, can
Yes.
individuals opt out?
Yes. So this is an opt-in program only. So if you get a letter in the mail and you want to throw it in the trash because you don't want a tree, you're more than welcome to do that. I don't want you to do that, but you can. So yes, it's only an opt-in. So if you send something back to us, that's the only way that's saying that you want a tree. That's the only way that we're going to plant a tree. So if you don't want a tree, you just do nothing. The other one was, so these trees are high. The ones out by the street are high canopy trees. So you won't have something bushy down at the bottom that somebody could hide behind. I guess if the trunk gets big enough for somebody to hide behind, I'll be way dead and gone by the time that happens. And it's going to take 80, 90, 100 years before somebody's hiding behind any of these trunks. Another question. Well, so the damage so that's a good question. The damage of the roots. So, and this is always one of this rates is one of the highest concerns that we get. Every tree that we plant that has a verge strip of less than 8 feet, that will get a root barrier along the sidewalk side. And what a root barrier is, it's a large, thick piece of plastic that goes down along the edge of the tree line, the edge of the sidewalk. It'll stretch 6 feet long and it goes down 18 inches deep into the ground. So when the roots will grow towards the sidewalk, they'll hit that root barrier and they get spread out to the side. So they'll come and they'll get spread out to the side. So every time we plant a tree in a small verge strip, we put in a root barrier, and that's to prohibit the roots from destroying the sidewalk or from lifting the sidewalk at all. So that's in any strip that's less than 8 feet, which is most of them in the county. So that's one thing that we do. Yes.
People are also worried about the roots getting into their water system, because that
Right.
happened, but with the maple trees that were originally planted.
Sure. So usually it's not usually the water system that they get into. It's usually like a sewer system. Like
Yeah.
sometimes there's sewer systems. So if you do happen to have the old terracotta piping, that's the old style pipe. If you've had, then that can be an issue. We try to keep it away. That's why we don't plant the bigger trees in the front yard where your clean outs are and things as such. If you've had your pipes replaced with PVC piping over the years, if you've had that done, then you don't really have an issue with tree roots getting into PVC piping. So I do understand the sewer one also. That is also a concern. But like I said, we're planting the smaller trees in the yard, and we're hoping that, it'll be, another 100 years before we have any problems with them.
Bonnie, is your question for Saul? Or you comment to Saul?
It's in line with what Saul's talking about.
Okay.
So I want to let the neighborhood folks go get their questions answered.
Okay. Shauna, Ellie?
Yes,
Ellie too?
L.
Oh, okay.
LJ. Hi, guys. I think my question may be for Claire, who was discussing the triangle, because I think, Saul, you're discussing the trees if we want them on our property, correct?
On the property or out by the street.
Or out by the street, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Really quickly, who is going to be responsible for the upkeep of the park? Is that the community, or are we paying someone to come out and like cut that grass? And I don't know how, might have missed that part.
The county will still do the county's job.
Okay.
We have to keep an eye on that because I think that's how things got out of hand before. They have said that they were, and they've started the work. So
Okay.
one of the things, when I started thinking on this and I came to them, I thought it's a huge green space. It's not being used. There are things like it could be used, we could put pollinators there, just different ways that it could, if it's just going to sit there, it could be doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know I'm a proponent for increasing and maintaining the property value. I've seen areas like this that it is, when it's maintained, when it's being managed, it's beautiful down there.
It is.
And a lot of it, they're moving, some of the trees are coming down, or you can see down in there now, so they won't be as secluded. But to answer the question, the county is going to do the county's job. We have to tell them, hey, we planted this here. Don't cut down this stuff here, but it's the county. Some parts, like I think I know that there's planters. That's what they are. Planters. New planters have been installed, and I think it's my understanding that in the past the community used to do planting in those and take care of those. I also understand that people used to come and steal those things, but there's ways. There's ways. I've seen. I think that there's ways, but there's things that we can do, and there's things that the county, we have to keep an eye on the county to make sure that they do.
Okay. And last part of my question. Is there room in the budget for, or can some of the money be used for new, like updated signage? I think we've all probably driven through neighborhoods that, you may not be able to afford to live in, but you see the beautiful signage and the landscaping of the sign. And it's just, I think it would look amazing if we could do that one and that little median strip would be awesome.
On that one, we have spoken to a couple of contractors about that. The neighbor space in Big Green, we don't think that'll be allowed, but there are other grants, which is what we're working with, this grant funding. There are other grants, and we are going to go after some of those.
Okay.
It may be one at a time, but I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you. I
Yeah.
definitely do.
Okay. Thank you.
Shauna. Okay, Shauna. Hi, Shauna. Shauna, are you with me?
Yes, I'm
Shauna, are
with you. Sorry, my phone froze and I couldn't hit unmute for some reason. How's everybody?
Doing good. Thank you.
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New
So,
Year.
my question was for the retrieve gentleman. Just wanted to see how we can retrieve the letters so I can ensure from the school level that homeowners in our community, we're in receipt of those. So I don't know if I can retrieve a copy and then send it out through our school messenger system for any
So-
of families.
So how can they be available? Shauna represents Edmondson Heights Elementary School right here. And I think I do know that the other side of the school is in the plan.
So the plan, I wish I could show them the map, but the boundaries of our program, the Operation Retrieve program, are very specific in that we just are including the West Edmonddale and the Edmondson Heights neighborhoods. So if
We've
they're
expanded it to the other side of the school though.
So if they're on like the other side of Ingleside or something like that, it's not over there.
Gotcha.
So that's why we try to keep, it's a very localized that planting in that aspect. So you might notice, I think there was today, there were some electronic signs placed in the neighborhood. Did anybody see them? I hope they were supposed to be. Either if they were not today, it'll be tomorrow. There's like those those big electronic signs that have like a text on them that'll say Operation Retree, sign up for free trees. And we put them specifically in the neighborhoods, not along, main core, not along Route 40 or not along Ingleside, just because we don't want people from outside of those neighborhoods coming in. So I guess to answer your question is, I don't think we want a message going out to everybody in the school, being that not everybody in the school is specifically in these two neighborhoods that we're targeting.
Okay. Yeah, most of our population are at Heights and West Edmonddale. But there are, some in those other, surrounding perimeters. But
The map has been put in the chat.
okay.
Shauna. Yeah, you can see the
Is that an
map.
accurate
It
map
includes-
though? It doesn't include
Yeah.
all of the Edmondson Heights neighborhood, like even in the neighborhood itself, or West Edmondsdale.
If this is what I think.
Yeah,
It
seems like
I put it in there, so I wanted Saul to confirm that is
Okay.
the
Hold
boundary
on.
of the area that you're going to
I'm
be working
trying
in.
to.
And so I can't see it yet because it's too little. But the first original map that came out to us in the email didn't include my street, which is definitely in Edmondson Heights. So I was really worried about that.
The map that I got went
Oh no,
to
that is
past the
definitely
school.
not it.
Okay, so I just need to put it in your ear. The Harwell goes all the way to St. Agnes, and St. Agnes all the way down to is part of Edmondson Heights. I want to make sure my street, my block is in there.
Yeah, no, this is like the smallest portion of it. No, it goes all the way over. This doesn't even include anything of West Edmonddale, right? It goes through Addington and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this is a very small portion of the map. Yeah.
It does go larger. Yes.
I'm
Oh, wait.
sorry, I don't have one here.
All
Hey,
right.
Shauna, take your hand down.
Send it to Jaquista, and
Yeah.
so I can feel better about it because I want the what are we, the 1,000 block of Harwell. The rest of Harwell was in it.
You
Sure,
live
I'll
across the
try.
street from the park.
I live
Don't
next
you
to the
have enough
park.
trees? You have enough trees.
Let me see if I can
Okay.
find one.
Ed,
I'd also be interested if Stella Drive was included, because Stella Drive's in sort of a weird spot where it's not technically in like the covenant of Edmondson Heights, but it's not really part of anything else, and it's right next to the school. Stella
it is
Drive, the 1200.
possible.
It's in the
I do
census
think,
tract.
I think it's, I talked to Ellen about it, and I do think that Stella was included. And she said, would it be horrible if the other side was considered to be Edmondson Heights too? And I said they wouldn't mind. I'm sure it was whether you guys would mind. And I spoke on your behalf and I said, no, you guys would mind. So,
Great, looking forward to it.
yes. Bonnie, you ready? No, Ed, sorry. Ed, you're on mute. Ed, you're muted. You're just singing your heart out. It's on the end, on the right end, left. On the left end of the,
Bottom left of the screen.
yeah.
It may say unmute or
Does
audio.
it, there I am.
Krista, what's the name again?
Which one? Ed? He's got
Yeah,
it.
that's, okay.
Yeah, my name's Ed Swadek. I have two questions. The first one is about planting the trees along the curb lawn, as we usually call it. I live on Barrett, and underneath my curb lawn there is not only the water main, but also a gas line. And I
Sure.
think this pretty much runs all the way down through Barrett Road.
Sure.
So that's a concern there. The other one is I used to be past president of the community association, and we had trouble with the county at one time cutting the grass. They cut all the grass inside the park, outside the park, in the median strip and the triangle. And at one time, and I think in the last year or so, they have been lax. We used to have to keep on top of them to make sure they were cheating, moving the grass line, making the curb between the road and the park narrower and narrower. They got down to the point where typically when you go down, what is it? What's the name of the street?
Granville, Ed,
Granville, yeah.
and Forest Park.
In Forest Park, they narrowed the strip down to less than 8 feet when it should technically be closer to 10 to 12 feet. So we had to keep on them to not do that. But they used to cut all the grass, and they maintained the trees even in the triangle out there, not so much in the park, but in the triangle, because the branches were impeding parking cars along that triangle, which is allowed. And so I don't know.
Do we know where those trees came from?
They've been there forever. Nobody I know had planted them. And Susan knows that her mom used to plant flowers in the park. And I can remember when I first moved here over 20 years ago, every spring it was beautiful in there, flowers all blooming all over. So, yeah.
The daffodils are coming up now, Ed.
Yeah. The daffodils will be in soon.
Yeah.
So I always marveled at how beautiful the yellow park was with all the daffodils in there.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think your mom planted all of them, probably you and your brothers and sisters too.
Yeah,
Probably
she and
right.
Jeannie and Nancy and some guys. I'm maintaining them now, sort of. trying
Oh,
to-
okay. Yeah, I noticed. But yeah, I always thought that was really cool.
Okay.
You know, in the springtime when all the daffodils came up.
Yeah.
But like I say, I looked into a company, and as a matter of fact, they may be a landscape designer that you could contact. I've been trying to think of the name. I tried to get him when the county started slacking off cutting the grass. I tried to get him. I got them the bid information on submitting a bid to maintain those three parks, those three areas.
Okay.
He's an independent guy. He used to be up on Old Frederick Road where the storage building is on Route 40.
I
Just
know
off
two,
St. Agnes, just off,
but yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's now Miller Construction Company. And they moved to the Catonsville area.
And I do think that more attention being paid to the areas. Our green spaces are, so much can be done with those, and
Yeah.
our green spaces can say things that maybe the front of my house doesn't, and it can be more appealing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, like I said, I don't know, but
Yeah.
Body, you ready? Go for it. You're on
Hi
mute. Okay.
there. So yeah, yes. A couple of things. So yes, I'm thrilled to be here. We've been working with Jaquista for a while. And happy that Claire is here on behalf of Be Green. IPC is glad to be a partner there. So I just wanted to let everyone know that our role in all of this is to do outreach to the faith communities. So anyone that's, and I know Susanna and I met one time while she was planting beautiful flowers by the sign in front of the park. So I know that she's a member of a congregation. But we bring this greening work and caring for creation to local churches. So if any of you are a member or have a neighbor that's a member of a church, we would love to reach out to them, because ultimately, you're talking about who's going to take care of things once we plant them. So coordinating with congregations that have people that may be members nearby, or youth groups and things, or men's groups and women's groups and all sorts of things. We would love to start making those connections now, so that once we're starting to ask them to actually do work, we've got them already recruited and signed up. So please, Jaquista knows how to get in touch with me. So if you're a member of a congregation or know someone that's part of a congregation, please reach out. We also, so that's in terms of the neighborhood, but in general, IPC works with congregations to help them to be better stewards of their own properties. And so we work with our partners in Florida, Baltimore, and Claire sometimes helps with doing site assessment. So if there's congregations out there that are having problems with stormwater runoff, meaning I get a lot of calls that are, we have water in our basement, or there's problems with ice on our parking lot. Those are the types of things that we can come in and do an evaluation and see if we can come up with some solutions. And then knowing that congregations don't have funding available, helping them to apply for grant funding to take care of some of that stormwater mitigation. So just wanted to mention that. And then also, as far as trees are concerned, we also work really closely with congregations. We do tree plantings at congregations all over the watershed, and we would love to work with congregations that might have space to plant trees on their property. Trees and shrubs, we actually work with DNR, and we provide them referrals for tree plantings on congregational grounds. And then we're actually right now putting together a proposal for the Chesapeake Bay Trust Urban Trees Program that, depending upon the location, we can, I call us the flow of Progressive Insurance of bundling tree opportunities. So we put together groups of congregations that would like to participate in the Urban Trees Grant Program, and put them together and do one application all together. So we've done some tree plantings out in, well, I think the closest one we did was Milford Mill, but we've done some out in the county in your area as well. Islamic Society of Baltimore did a tree planting, which is over in your end of the county. So yes, I just wanted to say that, and I'll put my information in the chat. But then again,
yes, thank you. Everything that I've mentioned or thought about, or Be Green has been like, we know someone. Yes, I know someone. I think it was Don who said, I know people who love to remove vines. And I thought, never in my life would I thought I have heard all of those words together. They just wouldn't have gone together for me. But what I don't want is for other people outside of our community, outside, who don't even live here, to come in and say, yes, we can do these things, we can help you, and none of us walk outside of our door to help. I think working together, this could be amazing. A reason why I wanted some young people to come in and help specifically. One, because I see this community as we have generations who come and stay, and then their families live here. And that's what I like about Edmondson Heights. So there's kids here who may end up living here still. They may stay, but it's a feeling of, this is where I live. Come on to my neighborhood. This is where I live. I had someone say to me that a friend of theirs said, "Oh, we meant to tell you, yeah, that part of town that you live on, it's not a good part of town." And I said, "You tell them that they are a liar, because it is not true. We are not that. No, it is not the truth." And I don't mind calling a lie a lie. And we have a beautiful community here, and we have our things, but it's a beautiful community. And I would love to see us be involved, or tell your neighbor, or we could use some supervisors, Ms. Barzella, to come out and tell us where things should go. I think as many voices as we have, especially in the design part, we want to know what you think, what you want. We'll figure out the maintenance part of it. It's figure outable. I have a sign that says that it's figure outable. And I don't think I would get us into something that was too big for us to do or take care of. I am loving this. I am, if I can get some people, we're still looking at it. We don't know what the next grant payment will be, but we're just going to keep going anyway. We've got to do the design, see what everyone says about the trees. If you want a tree, I want to say there's an Angela who would call me randomly sometimes and say she wanted a tree, which is just hilarious to me. Angela Brooks, she better be watching. But I'd like for us to, I like ideas. There's nothing that's too small. Complaints, yeah, I don't really want to hear. I got enough of those. But it's doable, and I'd like to see us do it. I can't force you. I put it out there like that. We have some beautiful neighborhoods. We have some beautiful yards, some beautiful, yeah. And the kids can learn. What they can learn is how we can keep daffodils growing. We can keep tulips growing. We can keep wildflower. We can keep these things going if they want to learn about them and potentially, make a job out of it somehow. Let's figure that out. So that's me. That's my soapbox. Thank you to Saul. I don't want to keep. Yes, Claire, out of the corner of my eye. Claire, you are muted. You didn't know that, Claire? Yeah, you muted there.
I clicked to lower my hand, but I didn't click to unmute. Thank you. So let me think. I was nodding along when you were saying we don't want people to come into our community, and I was like, yeah, because I thought you were going to say, tell us what to do. Because that is definitely not what we want to do. So one, I just want to say thanks again for letting us come here tonight. Shauna, your idea of sending information home with the students, like those are the ideas that we're looking for. I've been recording.
You want to talk to Shauna?
Great, I will.
Yeah, you want to
I've been recording the feedback that folks have been putting in the chat. And so this is all really valuable information. And I just kind of wanted to touch on a couple of other things. Jaquista mentioned pollinators. Bonnie mentioned stormwater. Saul, we can tell, is very excited about trees, and there are a lot of reasons that we're excited about trees and flowers and bugs, even those pollinators. And so those are some of the things that we would love to be able to come back and just talk more about. You know, I think especially since we've been having storms lately, a lot of my work focuses on stormwater. So we've been getting these intense rainstorms that cause flooding, and trees are one of those things that can help to alleviate some flooding. They can provide shade, which can lower your heating or your cooling bills in the summer. So there are lots of benefits that we'd love to have the opportunity to come back and talk to you about, or just chat with you if I get the opportunity to come out and knock on doors with Saul. So these are just things that we would love to talk more about. Shauna, I'm just thinking, my background is in environmental education. Shauna, you work at the school. Somebody mentioned an outdoor classroom. So I'm excited, and I just wanted to say thank you. And also that Saul it looks like you put another map in the chat. So maybe I could turn it over to Saul for a second.
One second.
Look
Hold
at
on.
that. Shauna put her email address. You'll see that.
Oh, I'm back. Thank you. Thank you. My Rottweiler was eating my Post-it notes.
Mine just ate a Burger King fried cup. Oh, pit.
I just want to say thank you for mentioning. I did put a map of the area in the chat. So if anybody wants to look at our boundaries, that is in the chat. I did want to mention the one question that was asked that I didn't get to before we started talking about daffodils. The young man had asked about the utilities that are in the lawn, as he was saying, the verge strip there. So those utilities are, we do, for every tree that we plant, we do call Miss Utility, and we make sure that we dig every dig safely. So we don't go near utility. Gas lines are usually like 6 feet in the ground, but we still don't, we don't dig with machines 18 inches from anything. We'll hand dig anything that we see. The one that we usually get a problem with is the FiOS lines. So sometimes if there's cable lines and FiOS lines in there, those are the ones we don't like to mess with. You hit those and it's like $20,000. So
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
stand a gas leak, but $20,000 I can't do. So so we are very careful about utilities. So if it's a problem, we definitely will hand dig, and if it's really a problem, we will just have to negate putting that tree in the ground. So I just want to remind everybody, I appreciate you having me, because I'm going to have
you
to
for
step off.
coming.
Thank you very much for having me. I am excited about trees. I get very excited about trees.
I
Um,
see.
and we've done these projects, Operation Retreat, all over the county, and we usually get, anywhere between 100 and 200 trees per neighborhood, and we're looking to get that going in these two neighborhoods this year. Like I said, next week, expect us out there on Monday and Tuesday. You can expect my team out there, and Blue Water Baltimore is going to be joining us out there to help us do some door knocking, and we'll leave some door hangers on your doors if you're not home, and we'll sign you up if you're there. And I'm really excited to do this project, and we'll get it in the spring. And go trees, everybody with trees.
Go trees.
Can I
Eric?
ask one question?
Sure.
Question, Saul?
Sure.
Do you do any flowering trees? I have a dogwood that's in front of my house.
Yes, so we do the 3 trees that we offer on the private property that's in your front yard. Those 3 trees, the red bud, the serviceberry, and the sweet bay magnolia, are all flowering trees. So those,
Yeah.
so those will be the ones that you will see the flowers. All the rest of the trees have flowers, but you can't see them really.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you.
And do you guys work in conjunction with Chesapeake Bay Foundation and any of the things?
So one of the things that we do, we work with the Chesapeake Bay Trust. One of some of these
Yeah.
programs that we're doing are grant funded by the Chesapeake Bay Trust, and you'll see their insignia on some of our web page and things like that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get the school system to include the elementary schools in some of their educational programs that Chesapeake Bay Foundation offers.
Great, great. All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Saul. You can come
Thank you,
back if
Saul.
you need to. I think Bonnie's gone, but Claire, if you need you're good or okay.
Yes, yes,
Let's work on Claire, we can work on giving you guys about 20 minutes. Just let us know when.
Okay.
And we'll work on giving you the time. It helps me, just to be honest. But so yeah, we'll work on and updating everybody and keeping everybody posted on what we're doing.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks again for having me tonight, and I look forward to coming back. Yep, I've got you all on my calendar, so
You're always
we'll see you
welcome,
again.
you and Bonnie. See you later.
All right, take care. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, that's so that you know I'm not lying about this stuff. It's happening, and they gave us a nice check, and yeah, thank you. But we have to most of it is probably going to go towards paying somebody to listen and design what everyone says. Put a design together. So I have also taken notes, which was really good. And thank you all for it's a good show tonight too. But on to I'm gonna make it short and sweet because I didn't have anything for real. I do have did get an email asking that everyone be careful. There's been a couple of men hanging out. We call them gentlemen. I'm sorry, a couple of gentlemen hanging out, a suspicious young man. A suspicious young man standing in the alleyways, in the neighborhood. So you see something, say something, call the police when you guys see, we can't. If we don't say something, I call the police in a heartbeat. I'm here to let you know. If the police just miraculously show up, it could have been me. So,
For me.
so yeah, because this way, so they'll know that they might not see us looking, but we're looking. And I did speak with Claire. Well, she wrote it down when I said it. I'll say that about again working with either, and I don't know if it's one and the same or but using solar lighting for our alleyways. There's programs.
Yeah.
There's programs that will work with us on that. I did speak with someone in Baltimore County government.
Dada? Or is that Mukmuk?
Keisha.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. You are all out of order. Okay.
Keisha, we're recording this.
Oh, wow. Let me mute myself.
So that is something that is with neighbor space. Claire, she writes it down, and what they do is they say, we'll help you with this. Do you need a proposal? We'll show you how to write a proposal. We'll help you write a proposal. We will help you with that grant. We'll help. So it's
Good.
hey,
Great
yeah,
idea.
it's really good. And for me, lighting in the alleyways, one is lighting in the alleyways. But I also think that people will feel safer parking in the backs of their homes. It'll help with our parking situation. I never really feel any kind of way parking in the back of my house. I don't feel necessarily unsafe, which I know
But
it's
for
a good,
some, yeah,
yeah.
for some people, I had a neighbor who was attacked because I think he let his wife park in the back and he would have to park on one of the side streets. So he had to walk up the alley and got attacked one night. It might have been like a year or two ago, but I remember, we had got emails. Well, no, in the newsletter it said, put a light outside your back door.
Turn
It
on
not only
lights.
helps you, but it helps your neighbors who have to use the
That was
alley.
me.
So
That was
yeah,
me.
okay.
Yeah, here in our block of Barrett Road, our alleyway is lit up if you walk down the
Yeah.
alley or
It's
drive down
like
the alley.
every step.
Spotlights come on all
That's
the
right.
Yeah, let's get those.
Yeah, it was a collective, like
Yeah.
we all, I don't know if it was just, but yeah, I've got motion sensors. We've got going all
Floodlight.
up. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
just got them, and some of us just took it upon ourselves. A lot of us on Barrett, we park in the back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have like one fence that's I have to kind of make sure I have to look around. It's kind of high, and I have to look around it for just to make sure. But no, you walk up the 1500 block of Barrett, and it just lights up as you go. It's yeah. I don't know why other people can't do it, but
Well,
I've
and
also seen and have heard more about. I think the more unkept the alleyways are, and we got to do something about it. I think it invites trouble when
Yes.
you have overgrown trees. It doesn't look like people are, because people can't possibly be looking out back and living out back and using their backyards if it looks like nobody cares about how it looks. And there's overgrown trees, there's all kinds, and it doesn't have to be. I don't think the alleyways should look like runways, but I do think that they need to look better.
Yes.
They need to look better, and we need to remove hiding spots. And don't get me on my soapbox.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Susie, I was thinking about, but it's not a full thought yet when it comes to taking down some trees. If there could just be a company who needs that, who could benefit from servicing the neighborhood and come through and just start cutting this stuff down. Like I said, it's just a preliminary thought, but even shears, just we take our shears and run through. It's not that hard, but it must be. I'm gonna say it must be.
You know what it is hard, and the hardest part is taking the stuff away and finding somewhere to take the stuff. Like nowadays, if you get your tree down, you pay somebody or pay the guy extra to take the stuff away
Yeah.
because they charge him to dump it. But what I wanted to say before everybody gets too tired and wants to hang up is that, Jaquista, I don't know if you did it or Angela, but those little Christmas lights in the median strip of Harwell were delightful.
Delightful.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was Angela.
Thank you, Angela. They made my
You're
heart
welcome.
blossom every time I drove down. It made me very happy.
I'm gonna tell you, that was a sucker's job. I'm gonna tell you.
But Angela, you're in trouble for not making me help you. I'm sorry. Sorry.
She let me know that she was out there doing it, and I don't know how I read it differently. And I went, yeah, I'm going in the house now. It was, and it was probably 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and there was another member of our board who went, yeah, that looks nice. It really looks.
Jaquista, I thought we were supposed to do that as a group. It was supposed to be an event. It was changed that we weren't going to do it as a group.
I think as the time went on, more time passed, it was more like either we do it's done now, or it'll be too late for Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what and I'm gonna tell you, I hadn't seen it. They had been up for maybe 2 weeks, maybe even longer, before I saw it. And when I tell you, when my therapist told me I should cry, that was the day right there, because I was so happy that it was done. And I wasn't a reason why it wasn't done. Or me, I was very taken aback by that. And I stood out there and made a fool of myself. And I asked people, don't you this? Don't you love it? And it was beautiful. And it would definitely have to give Angela because I know she froze her fingers off. And definitely we thank you, ma'am. It
We
was
do
beautiful.
thank you, Angela.
Yes.
You guys are welcome. So since it was not a collective group of putting them up, it can be a collective group of taking them down.
Did we just
Okay.
put that cup? Did we just turn them off?
So the lights that it's a switch on the back of them, so you can actually change what they actually look like. Because I haven't rolled past there, so I'm assuming that the lights are still up there, correct?
They are. I
Okay.
think I
Okay.
went through yesterday and I was like, oh,
Okay,
lights is-
so are
Christmas lights
the
are on.
purple lights still
Yeah, I was gonna say.
showing underneath the signs?
I
I would
don't know
like for
about
the-
that. I think I just saw what is like 4 or 5 bushes with white lights.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Yeah.
that
So
medium.
where the
Yeah.
signs are at
Okay.
the end of Granville, by the triangle and on Harwell, there were actually signs that illuminated, lights that illuminated on the sign. So you guys haven't seen the lights?
I saw something that down at the end of Granville. I can see it from my house. I'm not sure how much illumination it was, but I do see it lit at night. It appears to be a red bulb and another color, but
They
what
should
it
be
actually,
purple.
okay,
They
wow.
should be purple unless somebody changed the color.
It
And then
looked
I
red from my house, but it may be purple when
Okay.
we get down on
I'd
it.
rather they change the color than steal the color, because people be stealing.
Amen.
Be stealing. But definitely, I mean, my heart, like that Grinch's heart, just grew. And so yes. And yeah, that was, I think in the future we'll work to be more prepared. But yeah, I was like, yeah, me and Thor going in the house now. We just took a drive around to see the Christmas light. I don't know what I thought she said. But
We're gonna all come and help and sing carols, right? That's
I mean,
next year, right, Sharon?
Yes,
next
next year.
year, but
So Angela, when do you want to take them down? I don't have a
So
problem
I want
coming
to
up.
take them down now that we have good weather, because that was the whole thing. And
Yes.
I think when we actually had the board meeting, it was supposed to be right after that, but then the weather
Yeah.
we got
we
snow
got a
back
little
to back.
snow.
Yes,
So
indeed.
yeah, we had, and then it was cleanup. So I'm gonna let you know I wasn't even thinking about taking down wax lights. I was just thinking about getting the snow off from the property. So now that the lights are, I mean the weather is supposed to be fairly well for the rest of this week, and then for next week, I think it's only a couple days it's supposed to rain. So I can send out or we can send out something for anybody that wanted to come and help take them down, so we can use them for next year. Because they were
Okay.
brought specifically for us as the community, for us to enjoy them. And then,
Yes.
they can be used for something else, but I don't really want them to stay up longer for people to think, oh, she not come back and get these lights. Yes, we are,
Yes.
because they belong to the community.
Yeah.
Some random person passed her and thanked her.
They did. That was very nice. It was actually a young person that walked past. He was like, man, thank you for doing that. That really makes me feel really good. So I was like, okay, fine. If it was just for that one individual that was walking
Beautiful.
past,
Yeah.
It was
then
worth
it was
it.
all worth it.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I want to, if there's anything we can do for these kids, because I think the kids in this neighborhood, some of the kids in this neighborhood are amazing. Just I mean, I've met and come across some kids that they were not, they were some cool kids. And it's like, if there's anything we can do, a community should be able to benefit the kids if they need volunteer hours, if they need to become members of the board so that it'll look good on a college resume, on a college application. Let's do it. I would like
That's a great
to,
idea.
yeah, I'd like to in the future put together 1 or 2 job descriptions so that there could be opportunities to get experience
Yeah.
and just start a resume. I'd love to see some of these kids supervise and be manage their own block, the landscaping on their block. I'd love it. So I threw that out to uh, Executive Oshevsky's office. I wanted to give him a title. I did throw that out there, and I'm going to keep throwing it out there because I can have an idea, but the implementation, I need some people with some money to help.
Yeah.
But I also need us to be interested. I need the kids to be interested. I need the parents to be interested in letting the kids do some of these things. Get them off their butts and if you're gonna be in my yard, do some work in my yard. Just some things, just some little things.
Use
But
their voice for good.
yeah, we just want them to, and even some people who probably have a son that's living in the basement or something,
No, you did.
just send them out, send them out and send them to do some stuff. Go out there and trim some hedges or something, or earn your keep a little bit. Give them a paper route. Give them a paper route. Go cut. Kids don't cut grass anymore. Just send that 32-year-old out there to cut some grass. He can do it. I vouch for him. And when he goes to get a job at a landscaping company, yes, he did cut grass in our neighborhood. Sam can't have all the work. Sam has built a conglomeration in this neighborhood by cutting grass. He said he could not take on any more customers.
All right.
Yes. So definitely, that's something I want to do is just put together some just job descriptions and just help out because you got future community leaders and futures. Let's do what we can for them.
Yes.
Does anybody have anything that they want to? We've got 2 new, they're not on here. Nikki is here. We have 2 new board members. All of the members of the board decided to stay on. And we also have Nicole Gray from Clare Ridge. And we have, that's my boss, Melissa. My boss's name is Melissa. And we have Melissa. Melissa, you on here? Well, her name is Melissa. She's got my boss's name too. But they have decided they're joining the board, and we're going to go with a little bit of direction. And yeah, hopefully we want to be a little bit more visible. We want to take some things off my plate, and instead of hopefully before the end of the year, we can have it where different members of the board can have different things that they report on in the neighborhood. So yeah, I got a text about a gentleman is he living on St. Agnes Lane, or he has in the lawn chair on Route 40?
Yeah.
Wait, I saw somebody down the road. So is he living there or he's a beggar? Oh, okay, it says he's begging for money. Let's not give him any money. They stay where the money is. So for now, let's not give them any money. We are not doing that. That is unsafe for them and for us. I haven't seen the person who was living on Ingleside and Route 40. I haven't seen him maybe
I
for a
think they
month or
removed
so.
them.
I saw the
Him.
county, they're cleaning, taking up the lawn chair and stuff during the really cold weather. Now, where he moved it to, I don't know, but there was a large county truck and they were loading some of that debris into the back of one
Yeah.
of the trucks. I didn't see him when they were doing it, but they were out
One
there.
day, there were 2 camps out there.
No.
There were
Yep.
2 camps out there, one in the center and one on the corner, right across the street.
Yep.
No.
No.
No. I saw it once. I didn't see it again. Hopefully, we're good. But yeah. So let's
Yeah,
not.
they moved him, Jaquista.
Okay. Good. Good.
And
Yeah, I did
Jaquista,
see-
I don't know
Yes.
if you said this out loud, but if you walked around the park, they cleared that whole patch from Sunset to that middle branch.
Yay. The entryway?
Yeah, they've made an entry that you can actually walk into from Sunset into the woods, and I'm very excited about it.
I am too.
Yeah.
One evening, Angela and I were out there meeting with Claire and Bonnie, and we started out in the park, and we walked the different green spaces, and circled back around, and the fire department showed up. We were just standing there, and the fire department comes, and we just kind of joked. It was like, wouldn't it be funny if they were coming here? And they were. They came to the park, and they said, someone said the park was on fire.
Oh.
And apparently, and it was like, no, we were just down there. The park is not on fire. And they checked it out and they moved around and stuff. And apparently somebody had, there was a little fire in the park.
Yeah, I
And,
have seen some young men in the park. I don't recognize them as living in the community, and they're kind of just looking around, wandering. I'm not really sure what they're doing. I didn't see anybody with anything that looked like they could start a fire with it, but they were playing with a couple of the little signs about the dog poop, and I kind of just gave them a glance and they put it back down. Almost just like they were young adults, but just looking for mischief or something. But I never saw any evidence of a fire. My goodness. It's so
Look for
clear
mischief,
now. I
not
think
looking for-
everybody feels more comfortable walking, down through there. My neighbor has a large dog, and they enjoy walking through there now. The heartbreak is all of the garbage that's being thrown in there, particularly
I
up at the
did
top.
see that.
I don't know why. I mean, it's heartbreaking. The county cleaned it up, and now they go. I guess they just sit there and have dinner, and they throw all their bottles
Yep.
and their trash, and even down where I pick up liquor bottles. I'm like, can you guys find another place to park? I mean, it's just heartbreaking, but I clean up what I can. That's all we can do.
I
Jaquista,
saw
is
a
that something that
newsletter.
we can get for the signs, to get new signage around the park? So individuals that do, because you do, we do have a neighbor down here that entertains over in the park
Yeah.
area. So that way they would know that right after we got it cleaned up, that's when all the trash, as a matter of fact, it was individuals that was over there last week, and whatever they were doing, they left
Yeah.
all of their garbage and trash. And then now it filters out not only from the park. One of the little girls was out there playing with it, and she pretty much threw it in the street. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, are the parent, are you going to get this up? Because you see her, I don't know if he directly saw her, but the fact that they left the trash and thinking that it's okay to leave the trash there. And I'm just assuming that there is no signage that says that they visibly can see, do not litter or don't throw trash. I don't think you should have to tell an adult not
Right.
to leave your garbage from your
But you do.
vehicle
We
on
have
the
had
side.
men visiting a neighbor, and he got out of his truck and they threw beer bottles into the park, and he said to my husband, calm down, man, chill out. It's just the woods. He said, that's not woods. That's our park. But people don't get it. They just think it's the place that they can just dump their debris out of their car or whatever. We have signs. I had signs put in, 2 signs down on this end, but it just says no dumping. But still, that translates to take your trash with you. Don't dump it in the park. But they just
Can we
don't
say-
respect it. And that's the biggest thing with clearing the park. They're in there and they're just doing whatever and they're dumping it. I clean up what I can visibly see, and they're the one can we have down at the end. I don't know why people who miss their trash day, they just take their whole garbage and just throw it into that can. And then any debris from the park, you can't put it in there. I mean, you can't just wait till your next trash day. We have 2 trash days. Why do you have to bring it down and put it in that one sole can that we tried to leave for people walking their pets in the park? It's a fight that's just beyond words. It just really is.
I have an article in the newsletter that should go out to print this week. I don't know what today is. It should go out to print this week. And it's specifically geared towards Granville. And I had to scale it back a little bit from the Your Mama Don't Live Here. I had to scale it back. It is in here.
Yeah.
I might drop the Your Mama. No, I do want to add, if I don't have it already. No, it does say, don't allow your guests to, and that we live here. We live here, right? So, and it specifically calls out Granville.
Oh yeah,
And
it's a big problem, especially since the investors have bought these homes and just dump rentals in there and they don't come and check on them. We have a couple of houses where they have all these transient guests. They come at night and they all drag their pillows and blankets. They leave in the morning and whatever trash they deposit. I don't know if they're renting rooms to these people or what. And that all comes with when you lose homeowners and you have investors who just dump rental in there. And they have all those bedrooms. So we don't know what goes on. I just tell my close neighbors to be careful when you're walking, because we have people parked out here. We have no idea who they are, where they come from. They come at night and they leave in the morning, but they're in like a couple of houses in the group where I live. So it's not much we can do about it. We manage it as best we can. Try to keep each other safe.
Yeah.
When we have houses like that, the homeowner needs to we need to stay on them. So I need to know what houses specifically those are. And I have letters that are going to go out to landlords. Yeah, I got a lot of letters.
Yeah,
but
I wonder if I wonder, is it the people who live across from the park?
Yes.
Like just some of them. So I wonder if you could do a specific flyer to those.
Oh, they don't pay
houses.
attention to it, honey. We've done that for years.
Matter.
We've done flyers. And particularly when you have renters, they have no investment here. So they just kind of give you a look like they won't even pick up trash in front of their own house.
No, they won't.
I just get a bag and clean up as much of it as I can. We have a group home with adult men. I don't know why the driver allows them to throw their bottles and things in the park, but I saw her dump something one day. But I just get it up because I live here. I'm concerned about property value. Jaquista had sent something to one of the homeowners of the one house, but I mean, she'll say something and then she and her husband will forget all about it. And that's one of the houses that says all these transient visitors, but they pretend it's family members from out of town, but it's just men. They show up for a few months. They're supposedly living there, going around the back, entering through the basement. It's just you can't really get any solid information on exactly what's going there. Because of that, we've lost like 3 homeowners because they were women, they were afraid to stay here. What was going on. But we do the best we can. And when you did reach out to the homeowners, I think her husband came once and he was shocked to see all the liquor bottles, and because I think someone sent you photos and stuff.
Yes.
They will clean up for a minute and then I guess they need help with the rent and they start with the transient men again, moving in. It's just a vicious cycle. I just say to everybody, be careful and be aware of your surroundings when you're coming and going at night. And like if you see something, say something. You don't have to give your information. Just call the police and say, is there a suspicious person walking, up and down the street? But we get up in the morning at cars that we have no idea where these people have come from out of state, and then the next morning they're gone, but then they come back again at night. And it's just weird. I have no idea. But luckily we haven't had any robberies or anything that to my knowledge. And I just tell everybody, just be aware of your surroundings and, try to keep your lights on. It
Yeah.
has gotten some of my neighbors to at least leave their porch light on
Yes.
Yeah.
at night. It helps, but it's hard to get people to even do that.
Can I point out something in relation?
Yeah.
Sure,
to this?
Ed. Mhm.
You remember several years ago, we had a similar problem. And what we did is we contacted the Baltimore County tax people, and you can have the county send people out and take care of property that's not being taken care of, i.e. cutting the grass, cleaning up the trash,
Yeah.
and they add it to their tax bill at the end of the year.
Mm.
Now, I did this personally. I did this with one of my neighbors who basically let his grass get almost 2 feet tall. And he, I have a guy that cuts my yard. He was willing to cut his yard for a few bucks more, and he turned him down. So I had the county come in. They charged him $175 to cut his grass.
I wish that were the problem, but it isn't. The grass is cut and things like that. It's just the adult men coming and going at night,
But
the transient people. But we
but
don't
the
have a
fact that
lot of
you
problems
have-
with the lawns or anything.
Yeah, the fact that you have consumable products left behind, meaning bottles, cans.
Well, that's in the park. That's not really
Oh,
on the
I thought you were
lawns.
saying it was in their front yard as
No,
well.
no. It's in the
Oh,
park.
okay,
They
okay.
park on the side of the park, have a good time. They just deposit the liquor and bottle
Yeah,
into
I've
the
seen
park.
that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid anymore to stop and say, hey, that's yours, take it with you.
Oh, yeah, because they just give you
Yeah,
a
don't do
big
that.
to-do.
No,
And
no, too many
then we
people
have the
there now.
People are
Angela and I
crazy.
both have experienced the people who come to deliver the packages. They have to go to the bathroom, so they go and relieve themselves in the park.
Yeah.
Within view of everybody. They don't even consider that we live across the street from it. But
Yeah,
if I see it, I go back in my house or get in the car and just try to drive off. Some of this is just not something the county can really, do anything about. We don't have police driving by when it actually happens, so
yeah.
you just make the best of it.
Yeah, I know. I contemplated getting a few neighbors together, and when that happens, just dig out your garden hose and spray in the area.
Oh, God.
If they get wet, they get wet. They're doing something they shouldn't be doing in the first place.
I agree. I agree.
Anyway,
Yeah. So I just from this conversation, I had mildly one space left for an article. I was all tapped out on the article stuff, but I think I have an article about the littering at the park. But I'm also gonna put something in there. Put something again about beware of your surroundings, keep the lights on, and call the police if you see something, say something. So yeah, I should be able to get that done tomorrow, I'm sure. But yeah, and then this will be ready to come out. So anybody got anything? Cause I got nothing.
I got one more
I do
thing.
have a follow-up from the shared meeting with Shauna. I thought she was going to brief on it. A couple things. They did a partnership with, or is working now with Parks and Recs to enhance the safety around the school. So that's in the works. They have partnered up with the Maryland Food Bank along with the Johnny Cake School. So they're going to be sharing the food bank
Yeah, saw that.
food where they don't want to store food in there. So they're going to be looking for possibly volunteers to help when they do their food drive. And another thing, they are hosting a financial resource fair on March the 19th. From 6 to 7:30 p.m. So they're going to have a bunch of individuals that's going to come and discuss financial planning matters and even for the kids. So she's
Was
going
I
to be
there
putting
for that?
Say again?
Was
No,
I at
you
that
were not.
meeting?
That was
Okay.
last. Yeah, I told you about it last Thursday, and they're gonna be having their meetings the first. We have our meetings on the first of Tuesday, so there's gonna be the first of Thursday. So the next one is gonna be
Okay, we
on
changed it.
the
Okay.
first, yeah. And the PTA is gonna have a I guess it's gonna be like a mixer for them because they're trying to get new membership
They
for
need new members, not even new members, they need new officers.
no, they just need members, and I just thought it was an adjust that at least for the parents, because the last time that we went to the PTA meeting, it wasn't a lot of parents and as many students is in the school. You would think that it would be more parents, or even those that are not, because I'm not a parent, but I wanted to know at least what was going on, especially after the situation that was up at school. So I
Do
was
you
just
remember, I think we talked, whatever the last meeting was, they were discussing, I think it was the PTA meeting, and Pat Young was there, and we were discussing incentive for attendance.
right.
And he said,
They are
yes.
working on that. Yeah.
So I had the thought that possibly we could help and maybe provide, like, I mean, they're elementary school, so gift cards for like perfect attendance for the year, or because that wouldn't be much. Um so but to help with that.
Yeah, they were during the meeting, that was one of the, remember when we discussed it, that was one of the goals. So they have taken some initiatives with doing things like having things after school and then things during school for the winners for perfect attendance or increased attendance. I'm not going to say perfect attendance, increase in attendance. So they do have a couple things on. We did discuss that. So that's coming up. Maybe we'll discuss it more on the next
Yeah,
meeting.
let's talk about it at the board meeting and see what the board says. But I mean, I was gonna say, we give them a little $10 gift card, but kids are not playing that stuff. The kids are not playing that. I don't want to get my little feelings. But yeah, we'll discuss that in the board meeting. But just
I think I'm sorry, you said, and you're trying to figure out ways to get more attendance at PTA meetings?
That's one thing. The
Oh,
PTA
okay.
needs participation. They need more people to join, and what they really need. And we had the a PTA person on too. Yeah, she's gone. They need more participation, and since you asked, I'll say that I think the difference in a lot of schools, and you have schools that are in more affluent neighborhoods, but parents and community are a part of the school also. And we're buying whatever they're selling and whatever drives they're having or whatever, but their equity is a part of the equity in our neighborhood, and those are our kids, not mine. Those are our kids going to this school, and what they want to do is the projected attendance they'd like to see in the next, I think, 2 years is what the goal is for attendance to go up to 94%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of incentive. The school is going to work to find out some of the reasons why the kids aren't attending school when they don't, and to see what they can do to help. And I think as a part of the community, we should also be a part of the incentive if we're not offering to walk them and drive them to school. then. Just a
Right.
little something. Just a little
Oh,
something.
okay.
else. No, no,
'Cause
no,
I-
no. Ooh, and get the work on time.
Now I was thinking about I volunteer with a community theater, and in order for the kids to be involved, their parents either have to pay, I think, like $50, or they have to volunteer 2 weekends out of the month. And so I was thinking, well, if your kid is bothering you for 2 weeks about
Yeah.
some prize they could win at school, you might call into a Zoom PTA
Right.
meeting
Right. Right.
just to get this kid to shut up and leave you alone, and we get
Right.
increased PTA
And
numbers,
that's
and the
the
kid gets a
yeah.
prize.
That's a part of what the what's the name of the meeting again, Angela?
It's a shared decision meeting. So that the
Shared
next
decision.
PTA meeting is going to be in March. They're not having one in February, so it's March the 12th from 6:30 to 7:30.
Okay. Yeah. So anything else, Miss Angela?
Just one thing. For the signs that we have that are at the top of the park that says no loitering or something from dusk to dawn. So
Right.
is that something that covers the entire, or can we verify if this covers the entire park? Or is it just at the entrance from the top of
The
Harwell
entire
and
park.
down? And wait a minute, Sharon, give me a second.
Okay. All
At the bottom of Granville, is that something that we can technically verify whether or not it covers? Because if it does cover, maybe that can be a deterrent from the individuals that are actually parking, that actually live here, that, it can deter them. So I was just trying to figure out whether or not we can verify that before, as an addition to what you're going to put out for Granville, because if that is, then that would stop at least some of the foot traffic, or some of the nuisance of some of the neighbors that are not being neighborly when it comes to just being there or past a certain time. Because I just believe that you sitting in the park for more than 5 to 6 hours is not being neighborly. And you've witnessed that for yourself, that you
Yeah.
should not be after a certain time. And I'm going to say it's dusk to dawn. So I'm just putting it out there, as instead of us beating it, with a dead horse, of just some things that we can actually be proactive with doing to help deter unwanted foot traffic there.
So I think we can see Parks and Rec about that.
Yeah, Jaquista, I was just going to say, I didn't want to interrupt Angela. I've been down that road. The park, all of it is closed. It's from dusk to dawn. The problem is, if you're in a vehicle, I don't think that they can actually, make you move the vehicle. But if you're physically in the park, then yeah, they can ask you to leave.
Yep, they do.
Okay.
The dumpster day and the tread day are June the 8th.
All right. I'll be asking again. Okay. Ed, you had something.
Yes. Actually, it's throw a question. Is anybody having trouble with trash pickup?
I've heard a lot about that. I
Last
don't know.
Wednesday, last Wednesday, a couple of my trash was not picked up, even though it was on out on my little concrete pad at the end of my property and sitting there and waiting to be picked up. Two of my neighbors came to me and said, "You know why your trash wasn't picked up?" They said the driver never stopped. The two guys with him ran the whole length of the alley.
Okay, so
slowed
there's
down.
a reason.
Yes. And I have tried now for a week to get a hold of them. I have left untold messages with them to call me back. They're right down here in Halethorpe. And they've
Okay.
had the contract, and I can remember I've been here 23 years, and I can remember the original crew that we had coming down the alley. The people along the 1500, I don't know how it was in the other blocks, but the 1500 block of Barrett here used to leave Christmas presents for
Yes.
the two guys that used to pick up the trash religiously. And that was only once a week at that time that trash was picked up.
Yeah.
And they, I myself, I used to leave them $10 a piece for the two guys.
Yeah.
And do that a couple of times during the year. And they were really nice. And not that the young people doing it now aren't nice. Why is the trash truck going down the alley so fast the guys have to run to keep up with it?
Okay.
Is it part of a training program I don't know about?
Have to get their steps in.
Yeah. And the
I
other
will
thing is,
send-
that I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but we've had the hook and ladder come down Barrett alleyway here. And I don't know if you know the alleyway, but a hook and ladder truck make it around that curve in the alley and come down and get out on Sunset. Now, I will tell you, if you leave your trash can in the alley, that fire truck pushes it out of the way. He doesn't care. It's not supposed to be there in the middle of the alley or alongside where you can't get an emergency vehicle past it.
That's right.
And he just knocks it out of the way. And I went when he did, because I hate trying, going down the alley. I don't know how many times, stop the car, put the trash can back
Remove
in
people's trash
the
cans.
yard, and go
Yeah.
down 50 feet farther and do the same thing again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a lot of that is not only the neighbors picking up the trash can after they're going down the alley at 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning. And you're
Yeah.
coming out and going to work and you don't put your trash can back in your yard. Come on.
Yeah. I agree.
So
I'm gonna send a message to Margaret Stokes.
okay.
Hopefully she can get to someone faster than we can about the driver of the garbage truck. So hopefully she can take care of that. I think she's helped out with it before. If not, I'll pass it along to Mandy Ramel at the executive's office. Okay, everybody.
With
Yes,
the
ma'am.
with what Ed just said, is it something that we can put in the newsletter? Because ever since they got the larger trash cans, they don't take them in their yards anymore.
Yeah, I
They
know.
leave them out. They don't pull them in out of the alleyways. So
Right.
some of the neighbors on my end will leave the trash cans out.
Does anybody know when they're gonna have a trash truck that lifts up the new trash cans?
Never
No,
heard about it. No.
Because
Oh.
the poor trash guys are reaching down deep into those big old cans. I
Yeah, I
feel
know.
terrible.
No.
I'm gonna put out my old ones.
yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
But
I
you need the
will.
phone number for the trash company?
I'm just gonna pass it off to Margaret.
Okay.
So that's because you said I could do that, Margaret. Okay.
Thanks.
And see if she can. I'm sure she knows somebody. I'm just gonna pass it off.
Tell her to contact
I am
me.
good, everybody. I am good. I'm good, even if you're not.
I'm good.
I'm good. LJ, I hope to see you back in here again. You have been fantastic, my dear.
No
You are
problem.
on it.
No
Don't be
problem.
better at my job than me. Okay.
Don't stop it.
So you've been on it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm good, y'all.
All right.
Good here.
All right. You all
Thanks,
have
everybody.
a
It's a great meeting.
fabulous month. See you
Stop
later, Miss
recording.
Marcella.
Good night.
Good night now.
Good
Stay
night,
safe.
everybody. You too.
You too.